Oi! School's out, the World Cup's over, and Garth Brooks is still hovering over the ocean in a solid gold helicopter. So let's face it, lads. Festival TV is the only show in town. I'm Melissa Carton, and you're very welcome to my home turf, the Liberties. This week at the Liberties Festival, we'll be checking out historian Pat Liddy's walking tour of the Liberties. We'll be getting bang up to date with Masamba. And we'll be hearing the voice of the people at the Liberty Market. That's the most fun you can have in 900 seconds, right here on Festival TV. So that's left on Francis Street, left on Thomas Street, right on Mead Street, take another right, do that 10 times a day for the next 5 years and the weight will just drop off you. In the meantime, stick your credit rating up your action. The Liberties is one of the single most historic parts of Dublin. Last week, historian Pat Liddy gave us a walking tour of the area, and these are the fruits of his wisdom.
When Henry II came to Dublin in 1171, he looked at the suburbs of the city and he granted a charter to the suburbs, giving them a liberty from the taxes of the city. And so the area around Thomas Street and around today's Coombe and places like that all became self-administering. But of course he gave these areas under the charge of various religious orders. So a number of liberties, 5 or 6 liberties, were set up, started by him, and over the next number of decades charters were issued to other parts of Dublin. In Dublin in the 12th and 13th centuries, it was quite an impressive city because it was surrounded by walls with around 30 gateways and towers. In fact, it was one of the biggest cities in Northern Europe. It was a city of trade, exports, imports. It was a very vital place, a great place to live in those days. It was also quite an expensive city to live in. One of the effects of all these French Huguenots and Dutch settlers living here in the Liberties was they brought in and introduced their own style of architecture. And for 50 years from the 1690s, the predominant architectural style in this part of Dublin was the Dutch style, the gable building. And in the building behind me, which is called La Rochelle, it's an office, or it's an apartment complex. It has on the top the style reminiscent of old Huguenot Dublin, old Dutch Dublin, with the stepped up gables or the round gables or the half circular gables. And this is just a salute to Dublin's history of the Liberties. Here on Kevin Street, I'm leaning against the only original remnants, if you like, of the medieval Archbishop's Palace. The Protestant, eventually the Protestant Archbishop of Dublin, but of course in medieval times he was Catholic. So this palace was known as the Archbishop's Palace of St. Sepulchre. And St. Sepulchre had one of the biggest liberties in Dublin, and it stretched from here all the way almost to Harold's Cross, if you include our manor farms. So it was a very, very important and revenue-yielding liberty for the Archbishop.
That was Pat Liddy's walking tour of the Liberties. Well, that's your exercise done for the day. So stick with us while we'll be chatting to another man who's been covering every inch of the Liberties over the past few weeks, Michael Collinan of the Liberties Festival. So Michael, how's it going?
It's going well. It's been really busy this last few days, but we're getting there.
The festival's been running for 44 years now. What do you think helps it keep going?
The festival couldn't survive without the community spirit, you know, within the Liberties, and people really pulled together you know, when it comes around festival time. So that's kind of important. And what has kept it going is that generations have passed it on to the next generation. And I suppose what we've found out in the last 4 years is that the festival has been passed on to a new generation. So there's been a new variety to the festival and a different perspective put on it.
I know, because I used to take part in the parade when I was small, and that was my favourite part of the festival. What are you looking forward to doing in the festival this year?
I suppose something different for the festival this year is that we're having yoga in St Patrick's Park, and I suppose that for all of our volunteers and all our staff that work for the festival, I think it'd be great for them to spend maybe an hour down in St Patrick's Park chilling out for a day on Thursday or Saturday. So that's one thing I'm definitely going to tick off my to-do list for this year.
And there's, you know, a lot of events. What kind of different things are there for different age groups?
Yeah, we have a variety of events, from children's arts workshops to Liberties in Bloom, which we're trying to encourage everyone to put out hanging baskets, and people come along to the workshops, and we'll have some gardeners there that'll help them fill their hanging baskets to brighten the place up. We have the Blue Rinse Ball and the Blue Rinse Talent Show and the Blue Rinse Bingo Show. And obviously that's for our older members of the community, but they're always the 3 events that sell out really quickly, and they're all really active members of the community. We also have, for the first time, opera in St John's Lane Church, which, you know, it's not so much for people who go to opera all the time, it's for people who want to perhaps just have a taste of opera, see what it's like, pop in and have a look. And you know, we have our finale event up in the Guinness Storehouse, which is the Nighthawks, and we've lots of bands and comedy acts. The
Liberties is becoming more diverse, and what is in the programme that would show that, all the different backgrounds and everything?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Liberties Festival has had a slogan, many communities, one community, sorry, many cultures, one community, and I suppose what we have to do is try and reflect that. Earlier this year, the CSO had statistics to say that there was more civil partnerships in Dublin 8 than any other part of the country, and as a festival we wanted to be able to represent those who were in civil partnerships or who wanted to enter civil partnerships. So we have our first LGBT event in the 44-year history of the festival, and we have filmmaker and marriage equality activist from LA, Shane Bitney Crone, coming into Dublin this week, and he'll be showing the first European premiere screening of his film in the Woodkey venue.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thanks for being our guest today, Michael. Now we're going to have more Brazilian pounding than a World Cup semi-final as we catch up with KK down at the Masamba.
Hi, my name is Koketso Motlane, and we are here at the Masamba Training Center. I'm going to be interviewing Simeon right here, who's one of the organizers. Simeon, how are you doing? Good to meet you here at your spot.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. So what's the buzz with this whole Liberties Festival that is coming up?
Well, the Liberties Festival is our most local festival, so I suppose we like to get involved in it, you know, and it's been going for a long, long time. It's one of the probably oldest festivals in Ireland.
Yeah.
And it's an urban festival, which is really good, because a lot of the events in the city are probably aimed more at tourism, you know,
right.
Whereas the Liberties is a community festival. It comes very much from the community, and you know, there's a lot of very local things and small scale things, and then, you know, up to some bigger events as well. So it's a nice event to be involved in.
It's one of the best things about being in the group now. We've been lucky enough. We recently were over in Toulouse. We played in the carnival over there, so we played to 100,000 people.
Yeah.
We played all over Ireland, played in various venues in England as well. So it's a great opportunity to travel, and something I'm very thankful for.
I started samba drumming in Ballymun in the local youth group in 2004. Sarah, that was a member of Masamba, she used to come to Ballymun and teach us every week, and then she introduced us to join Masamba. I think it was 2005 when I joined Masamba in the youth group, and I've been playing with Masamba ever since. I've gone to Scotland and Barnsley with Masamba, and all over Ireland doing gigs and meeting loads of new people.
Now, when I first researched your group, I thought this was like a Brazilian or Mexican group, but I'm just saying fair play. I mean, an Irish. Why why this sort of a thing? Why not Irish dancing?
Well, it's a good question. If we had all night, I could tell you the whole big long story, but I suppose it's just something I discovered about 20 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I saw it was very accessible. It was something that, you know, people could get involved in very quickly, and you can move it out in the street and make a really, really big sound. And I suppose, you know, my passion for it is shared with people in the group. You know, we love the culture of Brazil. It's not to say that we don't respect our own culture, but, you know, at the same time, it's something that we enjoy doing, and many of the members of the group have had the opportunity to travel to Brazil and work with Brazilian artists here, and we have good links with the Brazilian community here in Dublin. But, you know, samba is one of these things. It has moved outside of Brazil, and there are probably more people now playing samba outside of Brazil than in Brazil. It's become a worldwide phenomenon.
I suppose, like with any group, we have a social element as well as the musical development, and obviously from the social perspective, we get to know each other and get to know each other outside of samba. So it's a good family unit, and something I think we're all very aware of and very happy to be part of.
Opinions. They're like Garth Brooks jokes. Everyone's got one. Everyone thinks theirs is actually worth hearing. But you don't build a community for 800 years without having some serious wisdom. That's why we took to Thomas Street to find out what the Liberties means to the people who live here.
Everything I've spent my whole life in the Liberties. I worked in the Liberties, went to school in the Liberties. I spent 51 years altogether in the Liberties.
The whole of my life, I've been in the Liberties all my life. I never could see myself living anywhere else or working anywhere else. Great area, great people, great community spirits. Really and truly. And when times get tough, the people in the Liberties rises to the channel. You know, I mean, you can come around here, you have it or you haven't, it doesn't matter, you're welcome.
Character, building, community, greatness.
Well, it's always meant mainly a trading area, you know. This particular street in the Liberties has always been a shopping area, you know. Over the years, markets and people came down to shop, and then I think it was associated with real inner city Dubliners.
People still have the great kindred spirit of helping each other, and, you know, anybody's down, they get lifted up, and, you know, it still retains, I'm glad to say that, and it's a great neighbourhood, and we're looking forward to next week's Liberty Festival, which will be really, really good.
I could find the real Irish people here, you know,
the real, the real heart of Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah, people who works hard, people who's trying to get over the crisis and everything, you know. Nice.
Well, it's a great area, it's a great community in it. Community spirit is wonderful in it. And generation after generation have lived in the Liberties. And they still shop here and they meet every week, and, you know, and it's just, even like the market itself is a community, you know. There's generations in here from generation as well, you know, and as I said, just very friendly people we are, you know.
That means everything to me. I'm just 94 years of age. I'm the longest in the market, 40 odd year here, 41 year here live. So it means everything to me.
Well, that's it for today. We're going nowhere, and neither should you. We'll be back soon, and the Liberties Festival runs until the 19th. You can check out the schedule on libertiesfestivaldublin.com, and you can find Festival TV on Facebook and Twitter.